those watching and listening around the world. This is Shelor.
Ladies and gentlemen, James Chilton, baby.
Hey, baby.
What's up, man?
It's going all right, man. Nice little Sunday. Finished wrapping up here, so here we come and just get a little chat in.
Such a tough weekend we had, working out, playing golf, dicking around with our friends.
You just need to unwind after after putting in a lot of hours like that. Speaking of which, this was probably the longest round of golf I think I've ever played. Mm-hmm. So. But no, yeah, you're right, exactly right. We should take it easy on ourselves and not try to put too much stress in there.
Exactly. Yeah, folks, you're wondering, we played golf yesterday. Shout out our boy Chad and Isaac, his friend Isaac. Yeah. So good little round, Blue Hills Golf Course.
Yeah, Blue Hills Golf Course. It's pretty nice. It's the first time I've been there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I played there once, but I have no.
It was a nice course, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good course. A little rough, a little tough. Rough, dumb.
The course was nice. It was a beautiful day.
But yeah, overall, it started out kind of slow, and I was like, oh, God, we're going to be behind this one group the whole time, and then all of a sudden it just started picking up. So.
Well, I mean, our tee time was like 15, 20 minutes almost late.
Yeah.
Which is, not that it's never happened before, but it's like, oh, shoot, here we go. Like, is every hole going to be like, you're going to wait an extra 5-10 minutes? But
when did you start playing golf? Remember?
I think high school. Like, I started playing, we had like a local, when I say local, there was a lot of local golf courses. But I was never confident enough to be like, I'm going to go actually play in the course. So I'd go out and hit the balls on the range with my dad and my brother or my friends. And then there was a 3-par. And so I started playing the 3-par every once in a while. Like the 3-par was, you could almost call it a 2-par. It was a very small, it was like on the other side of where the range that we used to go to was at. So that's probably like in high school, maybe like 10th grade or something like that. Maybe somewhere around that.
Yeah.
But
family members start teaching you or?
No,
just friends.
I had a buddy that I was in high school with. So I just randomly got clubs, either from like our uncle or relative that had them, and I started got a random set, and I was really just going to the range, and I wasn't doing anything with them other than just what I was saying. And then I had a buddy who is I can't remember if he was on the golf team or not, but either he played a lot of golf and he worked at one of the local courses, so he was in the situation where he was going to get rid of a set, and he actually offered them to me, and those are the ones that I play with right now.
Nice.
And I was like, "Wow, how often am I going to get a set gifted to me?" And I was like, "Dude, you don't just going to hand them over?" He goes, "Yeah, man, I'm getting a new set, and whatever. I know you're trying to play. We can go play sometime." I was like, "Perfect."
Say less.
So yeah, so on and off since then, but very more on the off side than on side. So it's very rare recently. This is probably the highest density of the times I've been going have been the past couple years recently.
Yeah.
It's normally it'll be once a year or twice a year maybe, and it obviously shows if you were to watch me play. So
yeah, that's one of my biggest. This is one of my biggest complaints is that you're only playing once a week, or once every other week. It's just hard to get so good at it unless you're just out in your backyard. It's like anything else, man. Just you're not going. It's hard to get good at something unless you're just a freak athlete or a freak intelligent specimen, I guess.
Yeah, you're
specimen.
Your odds of consistently playing well is just so low if you go every once in a while. So I guess that's the excuse to be on the golf course more, right?
Yeah, right.
To enjoy it more.
I enjoy it a lot, but it's just so really frustrating because
I think it's one of those sports that is so mental compared to all the other sports because it's you and this is you out there. I'm not like we're saying we're playing on the tour, playing for fun, playing on the tour, all that. Just how difficult golf is, and then just thinking all right, I just need to fix this little tiny thing, and if it doesn't go well, you're like, maybe that wasn't it. Maybe I need to fix it. There's so many things, You can break down the swing. You can break down how you're holding the club.
How you feel your set.
Like you said, anything else. But in some sports, it's you really need to work on getting faster or getting stronger or catching the ball or just being in the right place, like court awareness. But with golf, you're you have to look at the angle of where you're shooting from. You have to look at the lie. You have to look at what kind of club you are. Hey, is it really windy? Is there a tree there? Hey, did I hit the last ones all short? Am I going to try to hit the shit out of this one? Or, man, I should put this driver away. No, I just give it one more chance. I don't know. I feel like every time you play and it's like you have a bad couple rounds or a bad couple holes or something like that, all of a sudden it's just like you're trying to, figure out how to do like the equation on the board of that one documentary with the Boston Street Tough.
My man Matt Damon.
Yeah, when he's doing math problems in his restaurant. But that's what I felt like. It feels like some. Maybe you feel the same, but it's like, sometimes just like I hit the ball beautifully one round, and then the next round it didn't look like I knew how to pick up a club, and it'd be like, oh, what's this curvy thing at the end? Well, you're supposed to hit it with that side. So, that's neat. Okay, I'll think about trying to do that next time.
Yeah.
So
no, it's what you were saying. I read this one thing, or actually somebody was talking about it. I don't know if we have told you before, or we've talked about it before. I'm sure we may have. But chess players actually burn thousands of calories for the mental aspect
I remember
of it.
We talked
just
about
sitting
that.
there. Okay. But then I wanted to get at was that I don't remember. We were talking about mental and physical differences in it. I'd like to get a mental sweat too. Was it Tiger? One of the first guys to actually start working out for golf.
Yeah, I would say he's probably like more the. I mean, that probably a lot others did, but like,
but he took it a little bit more serious.
Yeah, like you could tell, like he was like, I'm crushing the shit out of this ball, or I'm gonna be in this for the long run. So obviously, it's paid off for him. Yeah. But you're exactly right. Yeah.
And that's and I guess he kept going, especially when he started getting injured. It started helping him come back and rehab a little bit just to get his swing back or whatever. But I think that's what helped him get those long balls in or whatever. So,
man, and the sport's so driven in technique and. You can. That's always like the struggle part, like having to like slow down and not try to hit it as hard as you can. Because usually, like that old saying of like, or maybe it's not the same, but like the harder you try, the harder it is going to be to play. For golf, you almost have to just like way back off. Like the harder you hit it, the less control you have. So like if you're like, I'm really trying to hit this ball really well, but then you're like, I'm gonna hit the shit out of it. I'm gonna try to get as far close to the hole as you possibly can. Where rather you should probably just do a half swing and make good contact. And it's not gonna go as far, but it's gonna go far enough that you can still see it. Rather than it's now in the sand or in the woods, and you have to get like a search party to help you go find your ball. So. I don't know. The feel like the effort now when you're using a Tiger as an example of like training and all that, like taking care of himself.
Oh my gosh. Okay, go ahead.
I didn't know what that was. I just saw glass. So I was like,
just knocking shit over. Just normal wiener dog stuff.
But yeah, I mean, it's like any other professional athlete. I mean, they're taking care of themselves. I mean, like you said, Tiger and coming back from his injuries and all that. I remember. You watched him play a handful of years ago, and he had a back injury, and his knee had to get worked on.
Yeah.
And maybe he's not taking hits like he would be if he's a running back. Obviously a different kind of sport, but
still just
there is stress on the body like that.
It's almost like Tommy John surgery, just the same motion, just doing it
to
over and
the
over
elbow.
again. Yeah, from pictures. Yeah, it's just wear and tear on the body, just consistent movement. Did you watch that documentary on him on HBO Max?
Tiger Woods? On Tiger 9, I haven't done it yet. That's one of those, like, it's on the list of things. I'm like, I'm going to watch that. I finally did. When I did the Last Dance, I was, like, behind because I had to wait till, like, I got, like, a subscription somewhere or, like, I'd be like, it was on TV. Great. I missed it. Shit. When's it on TV next? Who knows?
It's on Netflix.
But, yeah, that's one of those that I haven't got around to yet. Did you like it? Was it good? Or?
Yeah, it was real good. A lot of different aspects that they talked more about his background.
Okay. Like growing up and things like that, or
growing up and how he was kind of a shy kid, and he didn't really get into come out of his shell until he actually turned pro. And one interesting piece was that his dad was kind of on the golf course. He'd let him go play, and his dad had a Winnebago or an RV or something out there, and him and this golf pro would go out there and just start getting hammered and just railing out at girls in the Winnebago while he had him over there
playing golf, hitting balls.
Yeah, then he'd come back out and teach him some stuff and blah blah blah. Which then I guess that's kind of what I guess that kind of played in his mind when he was little. Like he knew something was going on, but he didn't know exactly what. I would think, and then. It just kind of made it sound like, okay, so this is where I'm supposed to be going towards in life is that, my dad was doing it. So now I need to go out. And that's why he was starting to have this double life, I guess, of just going out. And
Was he a pro also? Was dad pro?
I don't think his dad was a pro.
Maybe semi-pro or something.
I know his dad was good. I think he was in the Marines or Army, and I think that's where he started playing at. But I know he just had him out there playing a lot, and then he was always playing in their house. But I know there was one guy who was him and his dad were buddying around, and he was a golf. I don't know, but he was the golf pro of the course they were at. And
so it was also his wingman as well, right?
Yeah. Essentially, yeah. So they were all just getting it in while playing golf and just having beers. And I don't know if they were into drugs or anything, but yeah, that just seems where like Tiger almost got that second life from. I thought.
Okay,
it's like, shit.
It's interesting. It's a different perspective. I didn't know that. I knew his dad. For some reason, I thought his dad was maybe not a pro, but like his trainer and caddy. And for a while, I remember hearing stories about like he was not caddying for his dad, and or dad's not caddying for him anymore, and things like that.
Well, I know they got to a point where they didn't like it, or Tiger didn't like him, or vice versa, and they quit.
That's probably what I was referring
to.
And
I forgot which part of or what actually happened. I know they had one of Tiger's first girlfriends on there.
Okay.
From Stanford. Yeah, that's where
I think so. Yeah.
And he said something. He did something, and he wanted to go stay with her at her house instead of come home for Christmas or something. His parents were like, absolutely fucking not. You can't bring her here. You shouldn't be in a relationship anyway. And I might be butchering a lot of this, but this is the gist of it. And that, because they thought it would take away from his golf.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, that was kind of his rebellion, I guess, against him. He's like, well, I like this girl.
Screw that, I'm going to do what I want.
And he ended up, I think they made him break up with her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
He had to write her, showed a letter she wrote to him. And
Have you seen that? I don't want to lose train of thought, but have you seen the documentary on Netflix about, this is not a joke, but the documentary about like parents who push their kids really hard in like the sport of like, I think there's like one that I'm thinking of. I think it's like Trophy Kids or something like that. Mm-hmm. I think it's the name. I can't remember. But it follows a couple people in different sports where like, it gives you like a behind the scenes of what these people, if it's really, I don't know how true it is, but a day in the life of how these kids, who are really kids, but are now being trained like professional athletes or like they're getting pushed like to do, like their parents are like putting them in camps and putting them in tournaments and do all this like crazy training. Like one was this guy who's like, my son's so good, he's going to be in the NBA, no time, like guaranteed. Like there's nothing, that's going to stop him. He just needs to get stronger. But his kid's like right next to him. He's like, he's not good at all this stuff. So we're trying to work on it. So he's just like shitting on the kid. And then telling all these random people that it's like, yeah, the kid's he's good. He's the best, but yeah, he kind of sucks too. So we're going to try to get him better. So we're going to put him in this. And then there was like golf. And we're like, this guy's watching his daughter play golf and she misses a putt. And he's like, motherfucker. And then like yelling and doing all this kind of crazy stuff. And then it's like, man, his daughter's like, looks like she's like 7 or 8. Yeah. It's like super young. So it's like, okay, this guy's a psychopath. Like he's losing his mind. Like, have you seen those, these Barstool post them all the time when the team is playing and they miss a kick and like the people that are watching at home and it shows like the guy like just randomly going over and like punching his TV or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
Like
I've seen
somebody
it.
lose it or like that. Yeah. Anyways. But that's what it feels like. Like they're like every single hit, the guy's like, she hits the ball and he's like, okay, that's good, but she could have done it better. And I'm like, okay,
like never good enough.
this girl who's just like, maybe 10 years older or less or something like that is like, they have a couple clips of her like hitting the ball really well. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's looks like she's pretty good for how young she is. And then it'd be like the next sport is like a tennis and, the mom is pressuring the kids who don't really want to do it. They want to go do other stuff. Like, hey, I want to go hang out with my friends. But you're like, no, you got to go to practice and all that. So I don't know. It's interesting, like, how, sometimes the pressure can make people like, the pressure makes a diamond, right? Kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
pressure makes diamonds.
But I feel like having someone like that as your parent that is constantly in the game or like that used to play or something like that, that's got to be a kind of crazy amount of pressure to, you play the sport maybe for like 15 years if you started when you were like, 5 or 6, and then you're like, well, most people don't even play that long, in like a professional career, but this person's been doing it since they were like 6 or 7. Like they got to get burnt out at some point, maybe. I don't know.
Do you think it almost, like you said, do you think it would push them away just because?
I feel like, I went to high school with people that were, that played sports and they're like, yeah, I've been playing since I was like 3 or 4 or like as soon as you could possibly play. And they're like, I got to high school and didn't want to do it anymore. I was like, played forever. I want to do something different. Or, someone that goes all the way and goes to college or something like that. And they're like, yeah, I'm for sure never going to play this sport again because I've done it since I'm 5. Or whatever. So, I knew a couple people in high school that were like that, but I'm sure there's people that are still driven or still have fun with it, I guess. But depends on the sport, I guess. But
is it these parents almost living their lives through their kids?
Yeah. And that's probably what's happening with that. I think it's called Trophy Kids. I can't remember off the top of my head, but where so I guess maybe in 10 years maybe this little girl who's hitting a golf ball is going to be a pro, or maybe that kid playing basketball is not going to make it to the league or whatever. But I don't know.
Well, a lot of it's just probably just you put them through these camps and whatever, and you're just hoping that they will at least get some type of college scholarship out of it, and then obviously that's free money or free college tuition to an extent.
Well, I mean, especially if it's an opportunity where they may not have it otherwise,
Yeah. But when I left Radford in 2009, well, when I graduated, I just didn't leave. I did an internship in Sarasota, Florida with a basketball academy, and it was kind of the same things. This was it was a basketball, kind of a school camp or something that it was they were 13 and up. So they were from all over the United States, and they would go there, go to school at some academy for maybe 3 to 4 hours, and the rest of the day it was just basketball practice.
So it was like they were almost professional.
Yeah, they almost treated these kids like they were set up in dorm, almost like a small college.
Okay, right.
Set up in small dorms. Actually, it was just a house for the most part, but and just bunk beds everywhere and stuff. But and then there's it was just that. And I was just like, damn, this is all these kids are just thinking about. And it's just like almost like a prep school just to get them to go to like college and play ball and hopefully to the next level, which is good if that's what they really wanted to do. But I think some of them kids just thought, I like basketball, and I guess that they may have gave themselves too many pats on the back and thought they were way better than what they were. And I'm not taking anything away from them because they were some of them really good. But there's almost to a fact that, do y'all want to be here, or were y'all just kind of pushed towards here?
Yeah, are you doing it because you want to do it, or are you doing it because you're just told to go here?
You ever heard of that IMG Academy? It's essentially the same thing, but it's basically a whole college campus, but they do every sport. Really? I don't know if they were doing football, but they had, a lot of tennis was their big one, but they had tennis, golf, basketball. I guess they had baseball too. Mm-hmm. But it was like a whole resort campus of just kids that are there to go to school, practice, sleep. It's almost like a mini Olympic
village. Right?
Yeah, Olympic village or college. What's it? The Olympic Training Center?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's where they have is it Colleen Foster's there? It's like you go practice, you go eat, you lift, you go.
You like train with your team, or if you're, in her case, she's a bobsledder, so she only like hangs out with her. Well, maybe not only, but like she's there to train with all the people that she's going to be doing the bobsled with. So basketball team, I guess. Well, I mean, I guess they use different situations in the Olympic Training Center, but I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
But yeah, it's just it was like that. I was like, fuck. But
when they also have this, I don't know why this popped into my head. They have like e-gaming. They have houses.
Oh, the
like
esports center?
Yeah, esports. Yeah. They have like houses where they're all coming to live in the same house or something like that, or this gaming squad or whatever team or whatever. And they have jerseys and stuff when they go out on stage. Anyways, they offer scholarships now. Some colleges.
That's what I was going to say. Some universities are actually building complexes and stuff for them.
UNC and. I follow them on Instagram. I like their lacrosse team, and I follow them on Instagram. I'm hopefully trying to go there to grad school eventually. But
go Tar Heels.
Yeah, go Tar Heels. They have like this. What do you call it?
I don't know what you're talking.
It's it looks like a student center, but it's only designed for gaming. So a gaming lounge or whatever.
Like a complex or a center.
I think they said something about they have. I don't know about scholarships, but they have like a gaming team or a UNC gaming team or something like that, Chapel Hill gaming team. And you look at it and it looks like it's from the future, man. It's like has all these like fancy looking computers. I know people can dress stuff up, but it looks like they put a pretty penny on this to make a gaming team. I'm
sure they
competitive
out
gaming team. Yeah.
Computers, monitors, chairs, and it's probably just those big time like Alabama have with their football complexes and centers. It's just that, but gaming wise. So, because at the football centers, some of those ones, I think you were talking about it one time on here. They had their own cafeterias and lounges.
It's like it's like an Olympic training center. Like
they have a weightlifting room.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe some colleges are bigger than the Olympic training center. I don't know. I haven't been to either, but yeah, like Alabama has like all the SEC schools that it's like football is like king. All those schools have massive facilities. So
yeah. They put a lot.
But that was just one of those, like, and I knew there was like professional gaming, and I knew there was like gaming teams and stuff like that. And I was like, dang, colleges are now getting into like drafting kids like
recruiting
scholarship, and getting scholarships and recruiting kids and all that too. So
there's a lot of money in that now. I mean,
like ad revenue, things like that, sponsors, and
then when just look at for those who don't know Ninja on Twitch, from what he's changed the whole thing of just making millions from streaming on Twitch, and then obviously he's good and all. But yeah, just they figured out there's a lot of cheese into that stuff.
I feel like it's like the amount of people that are watching at like the Twitch and like the other, what is it? The like Facebook gaming has now their new thing.
Yeah, I thought it was Twitch.
How many millions of people were watching that, and then just people donate money just to go watch them play and stuff like that. That's crazy. That always blew my mind. Be like, you ever like played a game and like I would pay to watch someone else play this. And as a kid, you're like, no way that would. I would not sit and watch someone. But now you can pay someone else and they watch the game. But I've heard like a good analogy was like, well, why would people pay to watch somebody else play a game? And then they're like, well, why would you pay to watch a UFC fight? Or why would you pay to watch a football game? Yeah. It's the same thing. The best people doing,
it's something I could never do.
Activity, yeah. And I think that's how people like justify it as, like, it's not a real sport. I'm like, well, it's not physically active. It's not like they're diving and catching baseballs or hitting, field goals and crazy shit like that. But, it's almost the same.
Yeah, just to have there's still hand-eye coordination that goes along with it.
There's a high level skill. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something that we used to get in that Fortnite run, and
way back.
You don't see us on having our own Twitch stream or getting paid for
people
watching us. But
I think people would pay me not to be on.
But it's still how we're talking about CrossFit and other sports that we would like to be at that level, but obviously right now it's not in the cards, and will it ever be? Probably slim to none, but there's just saying there could be a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance.
But still, we watch it just because, we enjoy it. We watch, it's the same thing, going to competitions and local competitions. Watching other people work out because we're like, oh, we're in there. We throw down with them.
I do that too.
Yeah, I can do that, but he's a lot stronger. But that's a lot of fun.
We do the same thing, only he's got a little more weight on the bar than I do.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm all for it. It's hard for me just to sit there and do it, but I think, I don't know. There's worse things to be involved in. At least they're just not sitting there snorting lines of coke and whatever else. At least it's something engaging, I guess. Yeah. So,
I just thought it was just interesting that I can't remember how we got here, but like the professional aspect of it. Of now, it's before it used to be more of like a casual thing. Like people play video games. Like I used to I like playing video games that are like when I got time to kill or just like it's like relaxing kind of thing. Whereas now people are like, well, this is my job. I stream for 12 hours a day or I stream for 10 hours a day and I have to be online at this time. So it's like a regular job, only they're playing a video game that, I could do the same thing. I just play it for fun and I don't make any money off it. But this person's like, I don't know.
It's almost
blows my mind a little bit.
Stereotypical thing that if you still played video games beyond basically a certain age, you're almost either a nerd or a loser.
You're the stereotype.
Yeah. Well, I remember one of my uncles came over to the house one time and they asked where I was, and I was back in my room playing or something, and they're like, he still does that? He needs to stop doing that. It's just a waste of time or whatever.
Right.
In which I get enjoyment out of it.
Right.
And we've all played, me, you, and Chad together, and I enjoy hanging out trying to play.
It's almost like a hobby. It's not like
but I think you could let it go down a really bad road and you almost get addicted, and which I've heard of. Read about some people that barely leave the house room and won't leave the table, and there's like that one I don't know if I've talked about it before, but he played World of Warcraft, got addicted to it.
And I remember.
He would not leave, and he was basically just shitting and pissing on himself, and
Yeah, that's a different kind of.
that's a whole different level. And it was, I've never met anyone I know taking it to a level like that. So
I don't know. My brother streams every once in a while, but he did it. That's like on the side. Like he's got a full-time job, and it's not like he is like staying up till 2 a.m. every night streaming. But he'll do it like on the weekends and stuff like that when he's got nothing else that he wants to do. I'm like, hey, I'll hop on there and I'll stream and all that. And he's really good. So
well, he's part of a team right now, right?
I think he was on Liquid, which is Team
I
Liquid.
don't know,
but
I don't know.
I don't know what he's doing now. I guess. He's got a real job, so it's not like his full-time gig. So
it's just like side gig.
Yeah, so I mean, it was more of like because he likes playing. It's not like he's like, man, I have to get on and stream, but he just still enjoys playing the game. And it's like Apex, I think. So I've watched him play because it's kind of like it's cool that my brother, I can actually watch him play on like a high level, which is like kind of what we were talking about. Like, it's not like watching, like a professional UFC fight. It's a little different than that, but obviously, you're watching someone that is way better than obviously, I played with him on the game, and you're like, man, you could tell in certain things. It's like it's like if you were to play basketball with the NBA player and you're just playing pickup, and you're like, wow, this guy's pretty good at this. You're really quick. You can tell someone's really good at something, right? So, no, I would say my brother's like a professional, but I mean, I've a couple times watched him play games where he looks like he's really comfortable. He's casually talking. You can hear him like on the stream. Whereas I feel like if it was me, my heart rate would be like super high, and I'd be like, oh god, like, oh man, okay, all right, calm down. He's just like super calm, super cool, collected, and just running all over the place. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting how that works. And I guess it was more. I guess I was thinking that I know him, and so he has that personal connection. So, like in that case, I would have no problem like watching him play for maybe an hour or something like that. But I don't think he's sitting at his desk shitting himself or anything like that too. So,
well, I mean, that's good that he has something like that.
But it's more like a hobby, like you're saying.
And it's not work to him, that he can just after work go enjoy himself, and then if it does turn into something bigger, like you said, he was playing on a team there. I mean, that could be big.
And hosting with bigger streamers and stuff like that. He said he played a game with like 30,000 people watching at once. Woo. So I was like, okay.
That's not bad. Great. But I did see some of those guys actually had their own coaches, and I don't know if they have personal trainers.
So I don't know how that works. Like, you're a coach of a esports team. How does that work? Like, do you give them strategy or?
I would say, you'd have to say this is our strategy. Yeah, and I guess if you've played the game tons, you got to know.
It's got.
But it's hard to. I guess you could say if it's a strategy game, I would say, okay, this is what we're going to do and how we're going to win. Mm-hmm. Or if
hey, this person. It's kind of like a scouting report. Like, hey, we watched this team play before. This is their strategy, so you guys should play like this.
Yeah, I guess that's
like baseball scouts or something like that.
Yeah, I just don't get, like, you can't be coaching, like, call time out right now from the game. Let's huddle up or something.
Pause.
Yeah. I mean, I can't pause this game. Oh, come on. But, yeah, I mean, I just don't get – I mean, I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I just don't understand how it works.
Yeah, it's just like a area of gaming or sports gaming that, area that I'm just not super familiar with. But it's really interesting because now they're bringing it back, I guess. Colleges are offering scholarships as if they were, catching footballs or hitting baseballs, just like they were a professional athlete, like they were an NCAA athlete. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they would still be NCAA athletes if they were esports. I don't know how that works, but.
Well, I wonder if esports is part of the NCAA now. I guess if they're recruiting and giving scholarships, I wonder if they are.
That'd be interesting.
And they have to follow the same guidelines that all the other sports does. I guess it depends how it's recognized.
Yeah, that's probably an uncharted area now. Like with the a lot of schools getting into it and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a huge gray area, and it's just kind of give it a fill out as we keep this road going. Right. I guess
it's kind of like interesting to see. I don't know. Maybe I think about it like this, like to see things, and you're like, man, I wonder what the future would be like. So like with all the people like investing and stuff like in the stock market, now, you're like, hey, should I like keep an eye on something like this to see if this like really takes off? Like, maybe 10 years ago when someone was like, I think esports is going to be a massive event, a massive thing. And it was at that point. I'm just using it as an example. But like, and they're like, hey, in 10 years, there's going to be a dude who plays one game and he has millions of people watch him play one game and he makes thousands of videos or thousands of dollars off of, a 30-minute streaming session or like a 20-minute video on YouTube or something like that. Because that's why they were making a shit ton of money, is that the ad revenue on just YouTube alone was insane.
Well, yeah, I mean, so they throw out their ads, then I lead some more traffic towards that way. And, then it goes down endorsement deals that if Ninja is drinking Coke Zero, I'm going to drink Coke Zero now.
Hey, Monster, use my code Sheila 15.
Victory
Fever 15. Here, that's right.
But, I mean, people are pretty smart. They know what they're doing. I wish I kind of knew what all of them were thinking. Because I would never think like, oh yeah, let's place an ad right here on this.
Right. But like how the analytics of what time you should put the ad in or how often you should put these types of ads and all that. So some of those probably know us better than ourselves. But
some people get paid a lot of money to know that stuff.
But I don't know. I just thought about the looking forward and like the investing part. Be like, a couple years ago, if you're like, I'm going to invest in this little company called Pfizer. Now that they just made like billions of dollars off this thing, or like Microsoft or something like that, or I know it's like expensive to invest in some of those companies, but
Well, yeah, I mean, if you catch it before they take off, I mean, who would have thought Netflix? I mean, I think it's probably like a $500 stock now or more, but back in when it first started coming out, I bet you would have thought this whole streaming thing was going to take off. But
that's like Forrest Gump investing in that fruit company.
Yeah, man. See, one less thing to worry about.
I guess I don't got to worry about that no more.
But you just got to keep your eye out and just got to take a chance. Hey, get off him. And then, just take a chance and just if you hear about something and just go with it. I mean, a lot of people seem to complain about cable now, and that since streaming's obviously taken over, and I'm just waiting for. Someone told me that AT&T is trying to sell DirecTV right now. My uncle actually told me.
Oh, really?
The other day. Okay. Yeah, because they're just like they don't
probably sinking them, right?
Like, I'm sure they don't want to deal with it anymore. And as much as you pay for whatever channels you get, I mean, you can probably get almost the same things just if you
everyone has their streaming.
Yeah, you just CBS, NBC, Netflix, Hulu, ESPN's got theirs.
Did you listen to that podcast where Joe Rogan and Tom Segura were talking about that?
Probably. One of his recent ones?
Yeah, I think I just remember. I remember recently they talked about it like
newer,
like cable's dead. No one buys cable anymore. Everyone has a streaming service for something.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, you're going to buy, like what you're saying, like if you used to get a package of like, hey, I only want to get these 5 channels, but to get these 5 channels, you have to buy you have to buy 100 other channels that you're not going to watch, like 10 shopping network channels and then 5 like foreign news channels and then 3 flower arranging channels, and you're like, well, I'm never gonna ever watch this unless I skip through it on the way or something like that, or I'm fall asleep on the couch and it randomly comes on. You're never gonna watch those channels, but you have to get it. Where now you're like, well, I like Hulu and they have these shows that I like, and well, maybe I'm gonna get like Paramount because I only want this show, or like Apple TV or something like that. I mean, we have Hulu, Netflix, and Apple TV, so we have 3 flavors.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how you want to do it and stuff, I mean, it's good. I mean, obviously, if you get every single streaming service out there, it's going to be major dollars when you add them all up each month. But I mean, some people's cable bills, like my uncle was telling me, his is like $150 to $200.
So like,
and he gets like that's almost like a basic thing, kind of what you were saying. He gets nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like what Netflix? Let's say the cheapest Netflix is what, $10, $9.
Probably 10 or 11.
Let's say $5. Hulu is like $5. Netflix is like 10. Apple, I don't know.
You can. Okay, so then I know with Hulu you can even get the ESPN and Disney Plus into a certain package off for like $15 or something.
So if guaranteed less than $150, you probably could get a ton of stuff with just the streaming services that you can customize what you want. So
I mean. Yeah, I mean,
this is not an advertisement, by the way.
But also, if you do want to sponsor,
if The Rock's listening, Terramana is great.
Oh yeah, but yeah, if you don't mind watching specific TV shows and movies, I think one of the biggest fallbacks that I've noticed that if I want to come home and actually try to find the Lakers or the Nats play or something that you almost have to have them. Hopefully, they'll be on ESPN on cable TV, or if like with DirecTV, if you get those MLB packages and stuff, you can watch any game you want. But if you don't have that, then it's like, well, I guess you might be able to find like some kind of weird video play on the internet. Just hope you don't get a virus.
Yeah.
But
I used to do that for like, when they didn't play, like when Alabama would play. If it didn't make it on to like the local ESPN, like it would on ABC. We didn't have that. I didn't have cable for a long time, like in college or something like that. So like it was a big deal when it came on ESPN. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to change my day so I can watch this game because I don't want to get a virus from watching some third feed or fourth feed or like source feed to watch the game. Now, like they get on, we have basic cable now because we got like the bundle with the internet and all that. Yeah. But now it's like it's either on, if it's not on ABC or CBS, I can't remember which one we have. If it's not on ESPN or CBS, and it's like, well, I'm just not going to get to watch that game. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, it kind of sucks. I'd like to watch it, but normally it's not a huge deal. But now, like any of the big games are all going to be on like your ESPN or something like that. Almost everyone has access to.
Yeah.
But
I mean, ESPN Plus, they have a lot of random stuff on there. So if you don't mind, if you're a diehard fan of, hey, I only
you're going to find a way to watch it.
Yeah. But even if you're just say, I just like enjoy just sitting down, relaxing, watching just watching the baseball or whoever's on basketball that night, or you're fine. I think you could easily get by. But
my family is a big baseball family, like my mom's side, like
the River Turtles.
The River Turtles is
tried true since day one.
Yeah, fighting River Turtles, right? No,
folks, River Turtles is our local whatever minor league team, I guess now. They're kind of like the Salem Red Sox, I think.
It was the Pulaski River Turtles now or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm guessing
Did they do that because of like Major League Baseball was like, don't use our names about anything anymore? Like, because it was Salem Red Sox.
I think it was because of COVID, to be honest, because a lot of these small market teams like that were not. Because COVID happened roughly, not this last March, but the March 2020, and that's right when baseball season's pumping. Obviously the Pulaski Yankees in a town of 2,000 people, and when we went to that one game, obviously the stadium was not even close to being sold out. So, how do you run a team? How do you make enough money to run that team?
Do you think it was just like a rebranding thing, like just starting?
Yeah, I think it was just all right, we got to figure out how to, these small teams are not making any money, and we got to figure out something else. Because I think it just wasn't them; it was a ton of these single A teams, and because I thought the Salem Red Sox were kind of worried they might get it. And I could be making this up too, based on stuff I've read. But I don't know if they're double A or single A, because it seems like they're single, double, then triple, but it's almost like a rookie ball league under A, which I think that's kind of where the Yankees were, and that's the reason, like
the developmental league or whatever.
Sure,
yeah. I remember trying to watch the games for like baseball games, like to finish that thought about watching baseball. Like if you were trying to watch the Nationals for a while, like when it was the Nationals were new, like they had the Orioles have like the guy that owned the Orioles have like a monopoly on most of the channels that would cover the games. So the Orioles was before their team, it was the Orioles. Yeah. Everyone like there was no other local team other than like your Southern teams. So in the Northern Virginia area, there's no baseball. People just watch the Orioles because that was the closest team, technically, I guess. But, so, and I can't remember the guy's name, but I don't even know if he's still alive, to be honest. But, anyways, they had a monopoly on what could be broadcast. So for a long time, you couldn't watch any Nationals games because the agreement is that, hey, these channels are only going to cover Orioles baseball. And you can't play another team's baseball, or, it's out of the bar. It'd be like, what do they call it? The terms of their agreement. You're only going to play this many games of ours. You're not going to play anyone else's games because we want our team to be on there. We get our ad revenue, all that stuff like that from commercials and all that stuff. So for a long time, like they're trying to figure out a way, how can we get these Nationals games on TV? And, they have like a specific channel to watch the games, but you could only ever get it every once in a while. And, to get it was like you had to be very local. It was like a very local, like you probably wouldn't be able to watch it in Southwest Virginia. It just wouldn't be on like your basic set of channels.
I get
but if you lived in, Nova or the DMV, you would have access maybe to that one channel, but you wouldn't get access to all the games. Like where now you pretty much can get access to almost any team.
What do you mean
almost
the
all the
DMV?
time. District, Maryland, Virginia.
Oh,
DC,
is that what they
Maryland,
call it?
Virginia, the DMV. Yeah.
They. Is that what it's called up there?
Yeah.
Is that what they say up there?
DC, Maryland, and Virginia. It's like the area DMV.
I never.
I
was like,
it's like Nova. Everyone like knows.
You're talking about the
thinks
cars.
of Nova as thinks of Nova as like a very specific part of Virginia.
Okay,
it's kind of like the same thing. Only like the larger scale would be that area around the capital, Maryland, DC, and Virginia. So
I never knew that.
For most sports like Redskins, Nationals, and hockey, it's like if you're close enough,
it's a football club now.
You're probably watching football. I'm sorry. You just got canceled. I'm sorry.
We are politically correct on this. On this show, buddy.
So that there is a football team that exists in that area. But yeah, I mean, so you could probably, if you live in the area, you'd have a good chance of watching watching a football game or a Capitals game because that was the home team. But there was no baseball, so for the longest time, when they first came into town, people were like, well, I want to go watch the games, but then again, I can't go get tickets right now, or I don't, I just want to watch the game at home. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Charlie, you had to watch the Orioles game and people were getting pissed. And I don't even know how it got settled, but like for a long time, it was like, you'd be lucky if you saw it on TV, everyone would be like, oh, don't change it. We don't know what's going to be on again, so don't change it kind of thing. But my uncle, they still have season tickets, but my uncle got like the first set of like season tickets, like what do you call it, inaugural season?
Yeah, no.
And they've had them since.
Nice.
But, so like I remember we used to, every time there was a spot to go, like, hey, we have extra tickets for this. Do you want these tickets? For sure. I dropped whatever I was doing to go to get those tickets or whatever.
No doubt.
Go see that game because we're big baseball family. So like
fanatics.
Yeah. The fanatics. But, compared to being like, oh, I'll just watch it on TV or whatever, but, you didn't have that option all the time. So when you got to go to the real thing, we talked about it before, like, watching baseball on TV and like going to the real thing. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so it's kind of interesting, like how now with the streaming channels, you can literally watch almost anything, anytime. Mm-hmm. And like when I lived with Pat, when he'd want to watch like the Bruins play, he would have to go to like Nesson, like
Northeastern Sports Network.
Yeah, so like he'd have to go to a specific place to watch it. I remember him like using his computer to find websites to find it because you couldn't get it down. Obviously, Southwest Radford, Virginia is not streaming many Bruins games. How many teams are between like the Bruins and Southwest Virginia? There's a couple on the way, so all those teams. There's not going to be like a direct pipeline of Bruins games going to Southwest Radford.
Yeah, I don't know.
So. It's kind of interesting. So, now everyone's got the sports packages and all that too. So, I mean, like you were saying.
I've never seen hockey to be this big of in this area, to be big of a
draw.
Fan base for it, except for when students are in town and stuff, obviously, because like you said, coming from the DMV. New word, new letters. They bring that energy down here, but with me growing up, I just never were around. Maybe it was just me too, not being around many people who were big hockey fans.
I mean, no one probably played as kids growing up. You probably didn't play hockey, right?
Did not play hockey. Kind of Roanoke had they were called the Express. I guess it was like a minor league hockey team, and I remember going to that a couple times. But it was like I just said earlier about the Yankees. Not a lot of people would go to those games. Right. I think now they have the rail yard dogs or something. Yeah, or yard dogs, maybe just yard dogs. But kind of just. Same thing that just because of this area.
It's growing in popularity,
Yeah, there was no other than hockey presence down here. I mean, Charlotte didn't have a hockey team. I don't know if it's now. No, I don't think now. Yeah, I guess Raleigh is the next closest one besides Washington.
Oh, I'm drawing a blank, man.
Carolina Hurricanes, then the Capitals, and then I don't know. Within a half.
I mean, the
Pittsburgh
closest
Penguins,
one's probably
that's 5 hours, and I don't know anybody
that you'd want to be friends with that would be a
I had no friends. Well, no, Nashville they have the Predators right? So that's probably 6 hour, 5 hour drive. So I mean those
are relatively newer teams, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I mean,
ish. I mean, I guess it's the same way with baseball and basketball. Well, Charlotte, you got the Hornets, but there's not a Major League Baseball team there, even though the A's might be moving.
The
Oakland A's.
Oh, really?
They saying later.
They're going to come to Charlotte?
Well, that's a rumor that one of them is Nashville, too.
Dang.
But I think they want a new stadium, and Oakland said, nah, man,
No.
we ain't paying for that. And so they've said, later.
So they're doing the same thing that the Raiders did.
Yeah.
They're just like,
That's
build us a new stadium or...
Yeah, that's an option, too, is them to go to Vegas.
Did you hear that there's going to be a nightclub at
I
the
saw
on the
that.
end zone?
That's like a full-out nightclub in the end zone.
That is the most Las Vegas thing ever.
It's like, how is anything going to get done in this stadium, man?
How did you end up in the hospital? Well, I was in the nightclub and I took a football to the back of the head. They threw it long and went out the end zone and hit me in the back.
I wonder how that's going to work though. Is if it's only going to be open on football game days, or is it just like a club?
It's probably something like that where it's like, hey,
it's just inside the stadium.
It's like an access area of like, hey, your ticket is actually just the nightclub ticket, like to go in that area. I know it's like all baseball stadiums have something like that. Like Marlins have like a.
They have a fish tank.
Yeah, like a big ass fish tank, and then they have like hot tubs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
a couple stadiums had stuff like that, like gimmicky stuff.
Yeah,
and I say gimmicky stuff as in like
just something to draw your interest there to come.
You know, like, are you gonna watch a game in a hot tub? A game is like 3 hours long. Are you supposed to be in a hot tub for only like 15 minutes at a time?
Wow.
So, and how many other people were in that hot tub, anyways? But you know, the Nationals had this thing called the Red Porch, and it was like I think it's still called that, I think, where when you were able to get access to the tickets, they're way more expensive now, but they used to be like $5 and you could just get there as early as you wanted and you could stay at that seat the whole time.
This is before they were
this is before they had won the World Series and all this. So this is a while ago. But I remember being like, it would cost me $5 to get into the stadium to get a general admission ticket, because like the cheapest nosebleed seats where you can feel the plane graze your hair as you're going up so high. And then if you wanted to go down to the Red Porch, you could just work your way down there and get there super early and post up and get a seat. And you were so close compared to where your nosebleed seat was. You could be pretty close to being like on the Red. I think on the Red Porch, the way it had it set up is like you almost went down and like there was the wall and then like the field. So like at some point there might have been a couple rows in front, but it was pretty close. Where I mean, you could get like beer and food and stuff like that there too. So it was like a seating area.
Yeah.
But for $5, I could get into a seat that normally would probably cost me now like $150, $75, like really expensive seat in my opinion. But more expensive isn't like if I was to go on a Friday and pay $5 to get into the stadium and then get way, way closer. Like you probably heard of people like getting a cheap seat and then they just move as far as they can down. I mean, that's what we used to do, like on like a Friday night game. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, it's $5 for us to get there. Everything was like $5 on the Metro, so it's the $10 I'm right now in to go to a baseball game. Yeah. And then I paid like $8 for a beer, so it was like just barely more expensive for me to get there than it would be to drink. Yeah. So like I don't think they allow that anymore now. I think it's like
I'm sure not.
Get a specific ticket, But
yeah, I mean, when I was in Florida, going back to talk about earlier, the Tampa Bay was like maybe like 30 minutes from where I was staying at. Mm-hmm. So we would go up there and watch some games, and it was they could not get anybody to go to those games.
Right.
So I remember, I don't know how. So I was talking to somebody who was sitting near me, and they were like, "Yeah, nobody comes to these games." So yeah, it was the same way. We got the cheapest seats we could, and we were just trying to move down to there the next inning. Move down to the close, and we were almost on the third baseline by the seventh inning. It's like, this is sick.
And then like it'd be like if someone was like, "Oh, those are my seats," but okay, all right, and you just get up and you just move down a little bit if they're empty seats, and then no one's here. All right, we'll just say it. Mm-hmm. I mean, have you ever done that before in any other stadiums or anything like that?
Yeah.
And baseball stadiums is so common. Yeah. It's like literally people don't even get pissed. I mean, some people might do it. Like I've been at games where someone just like typewriters down the row until they get to some place where they know they're not going to get hassled by someone. Hey, that's my seat. Okay, all right, no big deal. They just move our seat over. And then everyone sits down and then just starts watching the game and having a good time. It's not like,
man, I thought that was my seat.
Where's your seat? Let me see your ticket. You belong way up there. No, I've never had that. I've never seen any of that happen. I mean,
you just scoot down. Oh, my bad, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my bad. No, I'll just move up or like move 2 rows up and,
Then you don't think nothing of it.
Yeah, I mean.
Unless it happens again.
But it's kind of like a cool community kind of thing of like, people move down and like you're paying $5, $10 for a ticket. No one's gonna hassle you unless you move down into an area where it's like you know, someone paid $150, then they're like, okay,
you go behind home plate.
Get the hell out of here, right? Yeah, well, you probably have to know somebody or have killed somebody or know somebody that killed somebody to get those tickets.
Getting those little box seats or whatever.
That's one of the things I've always wanted to do, to sit behind home plate. And that's one of those that has been elusive so far. It has not happened yet. So I would love to get behind home plate.
I don't know who the worst team in baseball is right now, but I wonder if you just...
The Astros. The worst as in as far as the record goes.
Yeah, as far as records now. But yeah, that's too. But I just wonder what their seats would run right now.
Yeah,
because baseball is one of the actually only sports letting fans come back in right now. Well, no, UFC Mostly. Is. Yeah, UFC
is now. I mean, some other sports have reduced national. The Nationals Park had reduced their occupancy of how many tickets they're going to sell, and then they would actually encourage people just don't sit. Everybody sit in one section. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been to any of the games recently. So since the COVID stuff. So I'm not exact. I know Sarah's parents have gone, and they've said everything seemed pretty well run. So I mean, they get tickets all the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've been to a handful already. So
might just depend on what your state you're into.
I think so. Yeah.
It seems like Texas. Obviously they're fully open, and I guess they probably said, yeah, if you want to. Come on in, and I know restaurants wise, you can just come on in and eat. You don't have to mask or whatever. I'm sure the thing.
It is outdoors, and baseball seems pretty massive. So I mean, I know there's probably situations where you're going to be closer to people, if you're going to the bathroom or if you're walking through the turnstiles, but you are out in the outside still. Mm-hmm. So I mean, anyways. So I don't know where I was going with that thought. Sorry, no, but yeah, it's interesting that. That they're going to move that baseball or potentially move baseball from Oakland to Charlotte. Maybe that'd be cool.
Yeah,
If not, that's not really true. But we should start that rumor though.
Yeah, I mean, no, they are looking at cities. I do know, and it was Las Vegas, Charlotte, Nashville, and a few other major cities without sports teams. And they're all. I mean, it's not like they're dead set. We're probably 45% moving towards Charlotte, but it's the same. They're in the area, but. I mean,
that's one of our older teams in baseball that has been in Oakland forever.
Well, since
Oakland Athletics have been there for
But I don't know. I also started thinking about it because Charlotte's currently building. Well, I don't even know it's Charlotte, but the Panthers are currently getting a new stadium and they're moving it almost down a little bit closer towards Carowinds on the South Carolina line down there. So I don't know if they'd be up to. Paying for another stadium right now.
Have you heard of that? How that happens? That is the most shady, corrupt thing.
Oh, stadium buildings.
Yeah,
I had to write a paper
how they
on
get that and how it gets the dirtiness and the shadiness is insane.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I had to do a whole paper on what based on everything, research and stuff. And this was for my grad school. If it would be good for a major city to build a major stadium for any sport. And it's not. And not just on the shadiness, but it's just with taxes and econometrizing. The public doesn't even get to use it, only if they pay to go there.
Yeah.
And it's coming out of their pockets.
Yeah, the public pays for it, out of taxes, and then it turns over to private ownership, and then you have to pay up Easter to get access to that.
Exactly. And then, owners are only going to pay half of it, then they expect the city to pay the other half. And or a third of it or whatever it is. And it's what the fuck?
Yeah, it's insane like that. Remember when they were talking about there are some benefits of having ballparks come and things like that. All the rest, in Nationals Park, use an example. They built this brand new stadium. They were in RFK. That was all right, this is not our forever home. We're going to build our own stadium at some point. And in the area that they started to build in, the Navy Yard area, has tons of restaurants and downtown scene now, bars and restaurants on every corner. And then there's a ton of apartments and stuff like that. So they're redoing the area, before it was not like that. So yeah, there's new business and stuff like that. But the people that live in DC and that area paid for all that to be built. So it's it's not like the owners are just we're going to build a new stadium. They're you're going to build a new stadium and you're going to pay us for it too. You're going to pay me to bring my team that I own.
And then you're going to watch all your prices go up around you so that the city can afford to do this.
If you would like to get an apartment in that area, you better be able to,
You better be making up cheddar.
Yeah, seriously. Or be, connected somewhere online.
I got a really rich uncle somewhere. Yeah, no, it's It's craziness how that works.
I can't remember what team I was reading about. And it might have been like the Braves or something like that. Yeah. And you just like not visibly, but like just physically get frustrated like reading it, and you're talking about how like, oh yeah, they promised all these people, and then essentially as soon as they got the money, they're like
see ya.
You can go fuck yourselves, y'all. And then now that they're still paying off this stadium, and then the team is considering moving. Oh my god, that is like the worst. That's like, you know, you date somebody and then they're like, hey, would you mind paying for my wedding for the person that I went to, you know, the new person? Would you help pay for my wedding? Sure, I'd love to do that. Yeah, like, no, fucking away.
I get so much out of this.
Yeah.
Nah, man, yeah, it's sports are a wild business, especially looking behind the scenes. It's, you know, you read a bunch of stuff back in the old days with the mob mentality into it, and you know, people taking dives, and you know, like the Black Sox scandal, and then Pete Rose, and I guess hopefully a lot of this ain't baseball, but it seems like that's where it was more.
Well, those are some of the most prolific, cheating scandals, other than like, you know, basketball with what's the guy's name we talked about before,
the referee, right?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Donahue. Tim Donahue.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Fact checker.
But yeah, and Houston Astros, like said recently, Boston Red Sox got popped for it. I mean, and it's funny because do you follow baseball other than
I've been trying to watch it more lately, but I couldn't tell you.
It's funny because like a lot of the players and like they'd interview people like, hey, did you guys know stuff was up? They're like, yeah, we knew you knew these dudes were crooked, but you know, you can't really open your mouth otherwise, you know. Not saying that everybody cheats, but they're like, you know, now everyone's going to look at you and be like, if we got anything going on that's wrong or trying to get the edge, they're going to crucify you. So everyone would be like, oh, yeah, we knew that stuff was shady and going on, but it's kind of like a open secret kind of deal. Like, you know, until...
It's almost like college recruiting that, you know...
Exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
a lot of people
everyone's getting just random
McDonald's bag full of money,
bag full of cash or something like that. You know, everyone looks the other way. Boosters clubs and, you know, SMU, they got the death sentence, you know, ESPN documentary, all that stuff. I mean, but yeah, I mean, with the amount of like the cheating scandals and stuff like that, but everyone's doing it. It's just, you only see like the high profile ones and things like that. That's where like when I always say follow baseball, like they'd be asking other players like, oh yeah, we knew this person was like tipping pitches, or this person was like doing like cheating. We didn't say anything about it other than like, hey, the next team that you were going to play, hey, by the way, those dudes are cheating, by the way, just to let you know. So like an open secret kind of thing. That's the way I've heard it.
Everybody's doing it. It's just kind of a matter of
exactly right
time you get caught.
And we talked about the Lance Armstrong thing is another perfect example of that. Like if the guy the first clean athlete would have been like the 40th person in place, but who got popped? Lance got popped. So
he took the fall, but
whereas like the Asterix took the fall, and then a lot of other programs are probably like.
Yeah, New England.
Let's get rid of all the trash cans. Let's get rid of all the trash cans in the dugout. We don't need trash cans down there.
Why do we have these? Yeah, New England was doing it too with their signs, right?
Boston was doing it with like the Apple Watches. Like, so they'd have to be like, what? Like, so they have. I think I heard this. Boston Red Sox would have like people in the dugout with Apple Watches, so you could a smartwatch, Apple Watch, I think it was. But they would text them. Someone on the other side of the field would text them and be like, "Hey, look, we think that XYZ is happening," or they'd give them, "Hey, this is what pitches we think are coming."
Yeah,
because they're looking, and then they're telling them in the dugout, so they could give all the hitters, be like, "Hey, by the way, he's
doing this XYZ."
So using technology to cheat, and then things like that. But that was one of the more recent ones. But that's not as big as like something like the Asterix or. I made that joke so many times now. But the Astros, because it went so high up to the top, like from the vice president of vice president of operations or something like that was like, just figure out a fucking way to get it done, guys. And if you have to cheat, that's fine with me. That's pretty much how it went down. So I'm probably messing up names and stuff like that, but the more or less it was like they were like, just figure out a fucking way to get as many wins as you possibly can. And if you have to break the rules to do it, just do it as best you can without making it super obvious. So
Well, I guess really all they got was a slap on the wrist, right? Cause
Yeah, like they got a fine. The maximum fine was like $5 million or so.
and they got to keep the World Series, and
which is the craziest part. They lost a lot of draft picks, which can hurt a team, but it can hurt a team for a handful of years. But like if it's hard to go back and turn the clock back and like take away. But they did it. We talked about it with like Reggie Bush and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, how you just
they
take
took all
away
his shit.
championships and stuff like that. Yeah, like, well they still won it, but
they still won it. But yeah, physically they won it. But like if they've been cheating through it, they definitely didn't. I don't think they deserved it. But I think that's when people talk about like the cheating scandals, like you were saying, people taking dives like in the Black Sox. That's why even though it happened in like what
1906,
yeah, it was
1913,
the early 1900s.
Yeah,
but it's still remembered because it's so widespread. Of like, man, all these guys took dives and they got paid to cheat the game, and sports are sacred kind of thing.
sports
are like it's just such a sacred area that people you don't mess with sports and stuff like that. So,
but yeah, you do. But anyway, let's take this home, man.
Oh yeah.
Before we get talking too much here, I think we did about an hour, so
dang, okay,
that's probably about time. Though.
Man, I got Rambling Mess on here. I saw that as the title of one of your episodes. You got Rambling Mess Part 2 over here. Sorry.
Nah, man, no, it was good, man. We hit on some good stuff. So, yeah, anything you want to say before we leave?
No, man. Look forward to the next one.
Woo! Right. Always, man. All right, that's all we got, folks. See ya.